Hey guys, welcome back to another League of Legends video, and for today I think it's a good time to talk about how you should prepare for Season 11 during the preseason. I know this isn't really a type of video I made on this channel so far since I mostly cover discussions, but you know me, I pride myself on my guides, so I think this is a good way to start. It's no exaggeration to say that Preseason 2020 is literally the most game-changing preseason we've had yet. Normally Riot would do something on a moderate scale like rework a cast of characters or perhaps change up the rune system, maybe the Rift a bit like they did with Elemental Drakes and the Alcoves, but usually whatever worked the year prior would still work now with just some minor changes to the status quo. This time? Nope. Almost everything has been turned upside down because of the entire item system being reworked to the point where practically half of all items are either new or unrecognizable from their previous iterations. We're seeing champions that were obscure just a few weeks ago become top tier monsters right now, and vice versa, some champions that were respectably strong now are shafted and almost unplayable. So while we have a good bit of time, close to 2 months before Season 11 starts and this horrible year finally ends, I'm sure many players are confused as to how to approach the new changes to the game, and if you're one of those players who are concerned about how you'll be able to climb when rank starts up again, this video should help you get your bearings. So let's get started with the first tip. Understand every item. It sounds self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised not many players do this. You have multiple options to go about this. Either spam a bunch of champions in normals and or ARAM and try your best to pick champions that choose different mythic or legendary items until you get a general idea of what they're supposed to do. Alternatively, what I actually recommend is to sit down and read every item first. Just act under the assumption that no items from Season 10 are the same now, and go into the practice tool and carefully read each one. Then purchase each mythic item one at a time and try using them against dummies or the one champion bot that you have in every practice tool. Best if you can mix up your champions around. Even if you don't plan to use every mythic item, let's say you're an AD carry main, it's still extremely important to know what every item does, not necessarily for the sake of using it yourself, but knowing what to expect when you go against it. Information is half the battle. I know gamers aren't really too fond of reading or studying things, but if you care about getting to Platinum, Diamond, Master, and higher in Season 11, you need to know what you're going up against. Reading each item is not enough though, you actually have to use them. The new mythic items drastically change a champion's gameplay. Immortal Shield Bow can augment a marksman's defense to withstand a lot of burst, while Kraken Slayer can add way more bonus true damage to their rotation. Likewise, if you're against a fighter taking Eclipse versus Gore Drinker, one is for burst and mobility while the other is for survival and sustainability. Since it's unrealistic to expect you to know what every single mythic can do on every single champion, my advice is to just test them out on champions that you routinely have a hard time going up against. So let's say you're a Jax main. Jax tends to struggle against champions like Malphite. So while you're reading up on tank items, I suggest you test those tank mythics out on Malphite if you own the champion. That way you can get a better idea of your losing matchups. Likewise, let's say you're an Ezreal main. Try out the support mythics on champions that counter him in lane, so you can know what to expect when battling those supports. One more important thing is that reading and getting a feel for every item, both mythic and legendary, is that it saves you time in game. Remember that every second counts. Spending 20 to 30 seconds in base trying to figure out what to buy next or what an item does is a loss of precious time you could be using for something else. You don't need to know the ins and outs of all items in the game, but at least understanding what you have to build without always pulling up u.gg or mobile fire guides can do wonders for your tempo from game to game. The next step is to reevaluate your champion pool. Some of you may have gotten a stroke of luck and your main champion got heavily buffed from the new item selections if you were playing, let's say, Jhin, Rumble, Kayle, Malphite, Amumu, Shen, etc. But even then, about 3/4 of all champions were completely flipped upside down from this. So if you've been getting comfortable on a select few champions, this is when you should really start practicing some new ones. It's all well and good to stick to whatever is comfortable to you though. If you main Riven, Yasuo, Teemo, Evelynn, Lee Sin, etc., then keep maining them. Although, I feel pretty terribly sorry for your bad life choices. You should never abandon what you spend a lot of time working on. All the same, even if your champion pool may not have been affected by the items too much, the matchups that they go up against certainly have. At the time I'm making this video, we're seeing a huge tank meta in the top and jungle with the top 5 win rate champions in Diamond Plus for both roles having tanks occupy 4 of the 5 spots. In the mid lane, the meta seems to be very burst or burn oriented, champions with front-loaded damage or those that take good advantage of Liandry's Anguish and Demonic Embrace for insane damage over time. I'm not entirely sure if the scene down in bot lane changed all too much, but my point still stands. Start re-evaluating your roster. If you've always been an AD assassin who likes Talon and Zed, perhaps consider throwing in an AP mage like Annie or Victor. If you love playing bruisers up in the top lane, then you might need to pick up a tank. Preseason is relatively inconsequential when it comes to trying out new things, so use this time to add a champion or two to your table. preferably champions who are currently strong right now, and of course, adapt to the balance changes as the days and weeks go by. Things are a little too hectic, so there might be some big changes to upheave the entire system all over again, but just do what you can to sort of get an idea of what you need to change. One more thing, please make sure that when you're trying out new things, do it in normals or ARAM, or ranked flex I guess. I know I said in preseason that you can do whatever you want, but there are still a lot of players who want to push their rank up a few more divisions to have a somewhat better placement in 2021. Since your MMR in preseason still affects how you start the next year. So just be nice and practice some in normal so you don't ruin other people's games. Next thing is to actually start reading patch notes. This is a no-brainer to those who are neurotic about learning the game, but you have no idea how many people do not read patch notes. Before you say it, yes, I'm aware that some popular streamers like Tyler1 don't care about patch notes and just do whatever, but remember, they're all challenger level players. Chances are they actually study them up off stream, or they're quick to learn things just by playing the game. You may or may not be one such player, so you actually have to do your homework. Whenever a new patch comes out, I suggest you read through it so you know what got buffed, what got nerfed, etc. This is a very volatile time, so Riot may pull some shenanigans as they balance champions and items around, and of course, you know that their 200 years of collective game design experience will do a spectacular job at that. Adaptability is a good habit to build early on. My guess is that it's going to take a very long time before things settle down. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of Season 11 and we start entering Season 12, players will still be figuring out new super OP champion builds. Items are such a core part of any champion, so when Riot went through with this, there could be tons of new combinations of items that can make obscure champions really insane. This is also the main reason why understanding every new mythic and legendary item is so important, because you can't understand balance changes to said items if you never knew what those items did in the first place. Usually I recommend checking out surrender@20.net because they keep track of PvE changes. That's the only website I know. If there's another one that's better, please let me know in the comments section. Just so you can understand balance changes well in advance, I'll leave a link to the website down below in the video description. They also let you know what new skins are coming in, so if you've made a champion that never gets a skin, like Skarner or Alawi, you'll be pleasantly surprised. Last but not least, play. Play, play, play. Best way to learn anything is through trial by fire. First-hand experience has always been the #1 way to learn the game. Yes, a lot of us might not feel very motivated to play League of Legends during preseason because everyone is playing for fun and games is super coin flippy, especially in ranked. But if you want to make a big push to get to the next rank, whether it's Gold, Diamond, Master, Challenger, Rank 1, or Iron 3, this is the best time to do it. Just remember that even though your rank placement for Season 10 is officially over, you can still increase your placement for Season 11. Say you finish the season Platinum 4, it's likely that you'll start Silver 1, Gold 4 in January, but if you manage to claw your way up to Diamond 4 during preseason, you can probably finish placements in Plat 4 or Plat 3, which saves you an immense amount of time in the long run. Not only that, but players who grind out a bunch of games will be more receptive to item changes and more aware of matchups and whatnot. Of course, when I say grinding games, I mean grinding games with 100% focus. Don't autopilot because then it just doesn't matter to begin with. That should wrap it up for all the tips I have preparing for Season 11. I know it could be a little overwhelming to think about all this, but you have plenty of time, at least a month and a half. Although truth be told, I really have no idea what to expect for the next year because Riot has never made a change this big to the game since they usually would only rework a certain group of champions or just small parts of Summoner's Rift while the rest remain intact. But because items make up half of all the gameplay, everything has changed. If you're serious about improving your rank and finally get at a hard-stuck gold, this is literally a golden opportunity. Preseason this year is way more important than any preseason we've had before. Anyways, I hope this video was insightful to those who needed it and entertaining to those who wanted it. If you have any questions or concerns, be sure to let me know in the comments section, or you could join my Discord server and ask in League of Legends chat for a faster response. Guys, if you'd like to support my work, best way you can do so is like the video, comment down below, share this with your hard-stuck friends, I know you have a bunch, and don't forget to subscribe for future content. Also, if you'd like to check out my other videos, I like to make a bunch of discussions on various things about the game ranging from champions to just overall game design. Consider donating to my Patreon as well, it'd be very much appreciated, but for now, that's gonna be it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon for the next video. Take care.